Hello and welcome to the quarterback decision making online course. Most of us were not taught how to coach quarterback decision making. So we created a program to help coaches install a simple, repeatable process that will immediately supercharge their quarterback's decision making and light up that scoreboard. So after completing this course, you will have created a clear, repeatable process that your quarterback will step through on every single play. We will have guided you through the ability to clearly identify and choose truly relevant pre-snap keys and cutting out anything that isn't necessary. We're going to guide you through locking your quarterbacks into a repeatable post-snap progression so they're making the right decision every single time. And all of these things will give you very concise talking points that you and your quarterback can address in the heat of the battle because we've streamlined the process to a few key points. And now with this proprietary new player book technology, we can scale this out to the masses and help ensure everyone has the ability to master their quarterback room, because now you'll be able to go to practice and work this new process, then send this process home in your players' pockets with them where they can rep it out on their own time. So by the time you get to game day, your quarterbacks are working off muscle memory and lighting up that scoreboard. To get good at quarterback decision making, you really have to understand the way that coaches use their pre-snap keys to move through their reads and progression. So there's two types. Number one, there is a man apex conflict defender read where you're just trying to put one defender in conflict and make them wrong between two or more receivers. And then there's full field progressions where you are reading the field and simply throwing to the first receiver that's open in that progression. Now that's very simplified, and we're going to get into the details of both here, but today we really want to focus on the man apex defender reads. In this first phase of the quarterback decision-making online course, we will focus our attention on our core plays, which many spread teams would refer to as quick game plays. And in these quick game plays, we use the man apex conflict defender read to help them make quick decisions after we snap the ball. Now that was a mouthful. Many coaches call this read something completely different. Some call it simply a man read. Some people call it an apex read. Some people call it a conflict defender read. Just understand, if I say any of those three words, that's what I'm talking about. And as you know, in our world of tackle football, there could be coaches one town away from one another calling the exact same thing something completely different. Now, let me show you a quick example of what I'm referring to. As you've seen before, we have talked about our first read. And in this concept, we're running early fade out, which is our 3x1 to the right. And the concept is fade out. I've labeled the receivers in order of the progression, so you can walk through this with me. But essentially, the apex conflict defender read comes in between the second and third read in the progression. Now, we are going to, for the sake of this video, look at this play and say, is our first read open by alignment? And we're going to assume that this cornerback that is covering the first read, the more go on the far right, that cornerback is going to drop into his deep third and take away that first read, which will engage our quarterbacks to move on to his second read, which is the speed out. Now, you can see that S, the Sam outside linebacker that is sitting between the second and third read. That is the apex conflict defender that we are talking about. So we are going to be very conscious of him, and more importantly, the color of his jersey as we move through our progressions, because as the quarterback comes off the first read saying, okay, that cornerback did drop into the deep third, so I can't throw that. As he comes down to the speed out, he's going to be able to either see quickly the wrong color jersey near that second read, or his receiver is going to be on his own. And as you guys know, that's a relative term if he's open or not, depending on your level and arm strength of the quarterback. But we always throw to the first open receiver in our progression. So if that number 2 has leverage and he's getting to the sideline and he is open, throw the ball. As the quarterback comes down to the second read, let's just say that Sam is flying out to the flats. Maybe that's what his assignment is. It's not the actual receiver, but he knows at the snap of the ball, he's supposed to get to the flats because it's cover 3. So if that's the case, as the quarterback comes off his first read, he will absolutely see the wrong color in that flats grass area that we are pinpointing.
and quickly move on to the third receiver in his progression, which is that stick, and quickly make that nice, easy 5-yard pass there. And that's as simple as that. We are simply making that conflict defender wrong. Now let's look at another example, because you might be saying, gosh, with fade out, it was really obvious. Those two receivers were right next to each other, and there was that conflict defender right in the middle of the two, and he simply had to choose one or the other. Okay, so yes, that is a simple way to read it, and that's why we chose that play. But let's make it harder, and let's see how it looks when it's not so obvious. This is our concept Y corner, okay? And it's a major part of our offense, and I can't wait for you guys to score some points running it. Now, we're going to go through the same process. We're going to assume the quarterback has snapped the ball, is looking at his first read, which you can see on the screen is that corner route by his Y receiver. And so he notices that corner route by his Y receiver is covered. So he's moving on to his second read in his progression, which is that snag. And by the way, snag, if you're not familiar, is just a slant and sit aimed at the conflict defender's heels. Some people call it a spot route. You might hear it called that as well. But essentially, he is looking to find grass, take grass, and get set up as quickly as possible so he can get the ball from the quarterback. So it's the same thing from the quarterback. He comes off his first read to the deep third, comes down to the snag. And the conflict defender is the same player in this scenario. So as the snag runs toward that conflict defender is going to need to declare what he's going. Is he going to the flats to cover because that's his job, or maybe he has the shoot man-to-man? Great. There will be no opposition's color in that space that the snag is sitting. If that conflict defender is just kind of sitting in that hook to curl space, then that snag will likely be covered, and the shoot is the one we're just going to move on and throw the third route in the progression very quickly, making quick decisions based on one person. So the quarterback isn't looking around the whole field. He's not searching for dropping back and just finding the open guy. He's moving through his progressions and throwing to the first open man in that progression, all based on simple and repeatable rules. And by the way, it makes it so much easier for you to communicate with quarterbacks in real time in a stressful game when there's only a few key points to even talk about. So your quarterback can play fast and not have to overthink things. Now, as a player book member, you will also get access to awesome true practice drills that you can do at practice or your players can do on their own that teach this specific Apex Defender read. We've also created specific lesson plans in player book that isolate these Apex conflict defender reads and has the quarterback practicing based on the visualization. And we've made it really customized. So the conflict defender chooses different things every time. And the quarterback really is just honing in on those specific keys. And again, that's the whole point of this player book platform, not to be some realistic reenactment of real life. That's not possible right now in today's world. Not even VR does that. But it is for them to focus and go, okay, what's my key? Conflict defender. Now, what's my next key? Does he go here or does he go there? Does he show up here or does he show up there? And it's getting those key points to fire in his brain. And then when he gets into the game, it's second nature. So that's what a man Apex conflict defender read is. And that's how we have integrated it into our concepts. Now, I would absolutely integrate this with your plays. All right. So you got the Apex conflict defender read in your mind now. You know what that is. In phase 2 of the player book quarterback decision-making online course, we are going to introduce drop back game plays, which essentially means the play takes a little longer to develop. It's a longer drop for your quarterbacks. But in those ones, we use full field progressions. And that's usually for maybe some older kids, varsity, high school and above. But we're going to show you how that works and how you can integrate that into your plan as well. But today, that's the lesson on our Apex conflict defender read. Join us. The next video is the youth passing system. I'm excited to get into that with you because I really want to show you how it all works together with our core concepts, with our 4 verticals concept, with our screen games. It all works together to throw crazy points on the board, put up crazy numbers. You can plug and play it into your offense and run whatever run plays you want to. This will just be a nice complement to have a passing game just like that. All right. So thanks again for joining us for this player book quarterback decision-making online course. Continue to pass this along to other coaches. We're getting great feedback, so please keep it up, and we'll see you on the next one.